Hello everybody, it is N, and today we are going to be doing another video, and by we I mean me and Air. Step in. Step right in.
Hey
Step
guys,
in.
it's
Step
Air.
in. Sit. Here you go. Air and me, we're going to be reviewing a full series, and for the first one we're going to be reviewing the series that got us into reading the main series, the OG. We got Percy Jackson. Give me Percy Jackson. I didn't even hold. It's Percy Jackson right here. The Lightning Thief is the first book, and all their books are sitting right here. Let me just grab them. All 5 books right here. It's the first 5 books in the Percy Jackson trilogy, and I'm going to be going over first 5 books in the Percy Jackson quintilogy, and we've got all of the rest of the Harry Potter Percy Jackson books right up there. You see, right all the way up there, and we're gonna be going over all of them, every single part, including the Kane Chronicles and the Demigod Diaries that I own, but not some stuff that I don't own. So we're gonna go over everything that we can, but we're gonna start off with the OG trilogy.
These are the books that got us interested in reading other books. It was an inspiration to reading.
So basically, I started in grade 5, and I read these books because my parents were like, hey, you know what? You should read a book. I'm like, I don't want to read a book. I just want to buy this necklace thing. And they're like, oh my god, if you want the necklace, you also have to get the book. I'm like, fine, get the book. I'm just not going to read it. And so we bought both of them. I took the necklace, lost it immediately, and then after like every couple of months, I would go pick up these books and be like, huh, what are they about? Flip through a couple pages, read a couple, I hated it, go back. Now, the first few pages of Percy Jackson are the worst pages ever. Okay, they're so bad. But eventually, I read through part of it enough that it was good, and then I completely zipped past the rest of this series. Air basically did the same thing. Air, tell us your story.
Except for me, the way I got interested in books is that I never read anything except for these weird fairy books. And so then, Kia got me interested in reading one book. Told me to try this book, and if I didn't like it, I could stop immediately. But even the first few pages for me, I really liked.
Yes, I told you to start the last hero, the last Olympian. Yeah.
Yep,
That's what I told you to do. So what happened was that I told her basically, I need you to read this. Promise me you'll read at least the first book or the series or something with it by the end of the year. And this was like the beginning of 2016 or something. And she said, okay, fine, give me my cheese. And so she said that. And so by the time, in like a couple of months, she had finished the first book, and she's like, oh my god, give me more. And I gave her all of it, and she devoured it.
Months. I read it in like 4 days, the first book.
No, I'm not gonna. You read the book after like 4 months. You started after 4 months.
Yes. And I read it in like 5 days.
Okay, so what do you think of the first book here?
I loved all the books of Percy Jackson.
So
Favorite books in the
this is
world.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Okay, so what do you think of the original? So tell me.
The original was really good introduction to like Percy Jackson, and like it was very interesting, and yeah.
This is the classic quintilogy, and okay, so basically this is like the original. Okay, if you want to read anything else, you gotta pick up these 5, and that's basically the entirety of the series. If you don't understand what happened here, this is like the main plot. This is how Percy became Percy, the Percy Jackson. Okay, this is Percy Jackson, and it's brilliant. So you need to read this in order to get on with the rest of the series, because you're not gonna understand like all the backstory. Why is Percy so famous? Like, why do people like him?
Take this to defend yourself. It's a powerful weapon. Guard it well. Only use it in times of severe distress.
This is a pen.
You want to read this first. That's why, okay? And this is probably like, usually people call this the best of the best. Currently, I would call that a 4 out of 5. But maybe back in the day, I would call it a 5 out of 5 because it was like the thing back in the day. But now, you know, it seems a lot shorter. It's not exactly perfect. I would give it a 4 out of 5.
I would give it a 5 out of 5. Best book in the world.
Okay, fine. We got those. Okay, that's the original Percy Jackson series. We can move on to the, what is it? What's the other one? Heroes of Olympus. We can move on to that. Okay, no, we're not going to do Heroes of Olympus. Instead, we're going to go over to the next book that he published, which is the Kane Chronicles, this trilogy. So, first of all, I didn't know about this until I started reading Percy Jackson, and then I'm like, oh, this guy also wrote this, and I could read this before the next book comes out. So I picked up these guys, and I didn't buy them. These are all like secondhand somewhere else. I didn't read these editions, but Air did, and so
Yeah.
Air can. Did you finish these?
Yes, I did.
Oh, she
I've
finished
finished
these.
all
Okay.
the books here.
Okay, so then she can tell you about these, because I have a little memory of this.
The story and the plot were really good, and I really liked how it wasn't always just demigod. It was also like magicians and other things like that.
Okay, yeah, so we expanded on the original thing, right? So these books, I never really cared for them. I thought these were like, and I went on because I didn't care. These were not the same characters. This is the only trilogy, I believe, that Percy Jackson does not appear in. And this is Egyptian myth, so this was kind of weird. I'm like, okay, can I go back to Percy now? And so this was it's just there. Nobody really cares about it, but it's not bad. It's definitely a decent trilogy. It's not bad at all. I think I would give this a 3 out of 5, I guess.
I would give it a 4 out of 5 because even though it's like not the original and Percy Jackson doesn't appear in it, I still say it's a really good story and plot. And yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It starts out with the Red Pyramid and then the Throne of Fire and then Serpent's Shadow. And all 3 of these were like, meh, I have zero clue what goes on in this. I have no idea whatsoever. So, you know, this is a weird part. I kind of think of this as the outside of the series. You know, we got the main Percy Jackson and then we got this. I think of this as the runt of the series. This is like the weird part that nobody really cares about. But if you want more Rick Riordan stuff, this is totally fine, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's not bad. Okay, now we can actually go on to the Heroes of Olympus, which is like this is the good one. This is my favorite one. Alright, so we can go on to that. So Kane Chronicles, the thing about that is that Percy never appears in any of the books, except he does technically appear in a side short story or novella, and that's in the Demigod Diaries, which I'll discuss later on. And basically, he appears, it's a short scene, nothing really important goes down, but it's kind of cool. But not in the main series, so that's kind of the only connection we have. And now we can actually go on to the Heroes of Olympus. Alright, so we've got all 5 books right here. These are the big ones, okay? This is the Heroes of Olympus. It goes The Lost Hero, Son of Poseidon, yes? Son of Neptune, Mark of Athena, House of Hades, and Blood of Olympus.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so this is a cool series. This is my favorite because these are the longest books that we have. Now, here's the thing about this, okay? It starts off, this originally, Percy Jackson is the Greek mythology, and then we got the Egyptians in Kane Chronicles, but this, we are introduced to Roman mythology, which is interesting.
Even though it's still introducing Roman, there's still Percy Jackson and the others in it.
Right, but the first book, unfortunately, there is no Percy Jackson, and so that upsets a lot of people. But don't worry, he does appear in the next book, and the next book, oh my god, I've never seen a better Percy Jackson book. Because the Son of Neptune, it's basically the first Percy Jackson book, except this time Percy Jackson's a legend. And he's just like, guess what, guys? I'm cool. Okay, so this is probably the most epic series in Percy Jackson. The first one, although it's kind of cool, right, we do get some cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
This feels like the big, epic Percy Jackson that I've been waiting for. And it's just so cool. As you can see, in the middle of the series, we transfer from soft covers to hard covers. This is when I officially started buying the books, because this is when they started coming out as I was getting them. The rest I got them all afterwards as paperbacks. So I can't really get these as hardbacks anymore, so I'm just kind of like chilling with these weird books. It's fine.
I didn't read these books while it was coming out, but I read them all the way through.
So I read them in 2012. She read them like a couple years ago, so she's new. I don't remember much of this, but I do remember this was the epic books, right? I've heard about the series having a very disappointing ending. What do you think about that?
Nope. They were amazing. It was an amazing ending, like super unexpected and like really good.
If you say so, because I remember very little of the series. I just remember it was a really cool battle at the end, and that's what I remember. I don't know if it's true or not. Okay, it might be true. I have no clue.
True.
But the rest of the series, at least the first 4 books, are brilliant. Maybe the last book's not that great. Maybe the ending is not that great, but overall it's fine. Did I give you a chance to breathe?
Yes, thank you. I'm like sweating.
This is going into the video. So that is the Blood of Olympus series. Heroes of Olympus. We get a bunch of really cool Roman characters and stuff, so that gets really awesome. But now we can move on to the Magnus Chase coming out. It came out recently, just finished up last time, so I can tell you that these are like the newest series. These are like the newest series, so that's all cool and stuff like that. I can kind of tell you about these as the newest I can. I actually remember more about these than anything else, so I can tell you how good they are. So the reason that this is exactly in between the Blood of Olympus and the Hidden Oracle of Apollo is because this is a completed trilogy. This is all done, and so I can put it in there and not worry about moving things around. So I know that this is completed, so that's why I put it there. But once Apollo is finished, I can put all 5 books closer and stick this to the side because this is a Norse mythology, which is completely different. This is Magnus Chase. What did you think of this series?
I think Magnus Chase was really good, and it still has Percy Jackson in some of the books.
Percy Jackson is in this book as a side character, so we do get that. And this is, okay, so first of all, this is kind of a weird trilogy. This is far more advanced than any of his other trilogies, which was impressive. This was extremely advanced, and I was surprised going into this. But the thing is, it just didn't have the magic of the first couple of series because we already had, in the first couple of series, we were being introduced to all this stuff. Whereas this, we weren't exactly introduced to things. We just kind of pick up a different completely different one, which wasn't as cool, right? It was kind of interesting, but it wasn't as cool as the Percy Jackson setting of this Camp Half-Blood. Well, in this one we get something else, which I'm not going to spoil.
We got horse mythology. I don't know if it's called horse.
Horse?
Not horse. Morris.
Norse.
Yes.
That's what I said.
What? You said horse.
I said Norse before. I already told them it was Norse.
No, you didn't.
So this is Norse mythology, and this is Norse mythology, so it's very interesting. We've got, Thor and stuff, which is wonderful. But it's very interesting how Rick Riordan presents these characters. Overall, as a plot, I think that the first 2 books, kind of weird. We've got this weird plot with his uncle going on. But the third one, I think it was a brilliant ending. I thought it was a really solid ending, one of the best endings. Did I forget to rate the? Yeah, I forgot to rate Heroes of Olympus. That's gonna be a good old 5 out of 5 because that was wonderful. This one, I think I would give it a 4 out of 4. I think personally, I would put it just as equal to the original Percy Jackson quintilogy. So, what do you think?
I think I would give it a 4 out of 4 because 4 out of 5.
4 out of 4. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think I would give it a 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4.
4 out of 5 because it's still like Percy Jackson is better. Percy Jackson.
Okay, yeah, but this was pretty good.
Like,
This was solid.
Good, yeah.
This was a solid one.
Yeah.
The first 2 books I can just toss out. Because obviously these books came out a year apart and they're relatively short because of the amount of writing in them. You can see there's very, very little writing on them. They're like triple spaced. There's very little writing in them, and so obviously I would just assume the first 2 books I completely forgot about while I was reading the third one, which is kind of sad. But still it's not that bad.
I still really like the first 2 books because the first 2 books also have introduced why Percy Jackson and Percy Jackson is in it.
But we get Magnus Chase because he's cool. I liked him. Okay, I didn't like him as much as Percy Jackson, but he was fairly interesting. He was cool as a character, but we got very, very invested in him. Rick Riordan is good at that. He's pretty solid with characters. The next series that we've got is the Trials of Apollo, which is right here. Yeah, we might do Arusha. Maybe we'll do Arusha. So these are the current Apollo books, which the rest have not come out, so we'll give you the best review that we can give. This is the trilogy so far, but it's gonna be a quintilogy. We're gonna get a quintilogy again. Yay!
Yeah.
That's pretty great. Actually, the trilogies are in the minority. We're gonna have 5 quintilogies and 2 trilogies. That's pretty good.
Whoa.
Okay, so we've got these 3. What do you think of them so far?
I think these 3 were really good, and since there's still more coming out, I think it would be better to read them all in one go because you would forget everything.
So the premise of this book is the most interesting premise so far. I love this premise. However, I don't think it's my favorite series. I think this is my least favorite series. I think I would give this a 3 out of 5. Just because, pulling this off, some interesting stuff has gone down. Some of my favorite moments from Percy Jackson have occurred in this. But the thing is, the majority of the story feels really, really weird from the perspective that we're getting. And I just don't enjoy the quests that are occurring. I'm just not getting the hang of it. It's just so weird, and I'm like, this isn't following a straight plot like I would have liked it to, but I still very much enjoyed it because Percy Jackson's in it again.
This is still Greek mythology, so it's still really good. It goes all the way back to Percy Jackson.
So this is still Greek mythology. So we've gone back to Greek mythology. Some of my favorite moments. I really hate the characters. Some of these characters are really dumb. I hate Meg. Meg is I hate Meg. Meg is just dumb. But every other character is pretty good. But Meg is just don't like her at all. So the characters, in my opinion, are not that great. They might look strong, but when you look into them, I feel like they're very, very weak, as their details are not holding up. They're not consistent, stuff like that. I don't enjoy the characters of this book, but the plot is surprisingly good, and we're getting very, very interesting plots. Breathe. So I'm expecting this trilogy to become a very, very strong part of it, but right now, I think the ending will be brilliant. Okay, the ending's okay. I just remembered there was a weird ending, wasn't there?
I don't remember.
There was robots fighting.
So which one?
At some point, there were
Some point.
At some point, that happened, right?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes. Okay. Don't tell me that didn't happen.
I don't think so.
Because no, that makes me feel dumb. That happened. Okay, I can guarantee it. It's not much of a spoiler because it's not like a warning. You don't get much of a warning when it happens, so it's not a spoiler. It's okay. At some point,
I don't think it happened.
okay, it happened. I'm pretty sure it happens.
You're
I'm
just
like
dreaming.
I'm like 90% sure it happens. Okay, so this book has some good potential. This has some of the best moments. If it can extend those moments to the entirety of the book, that might be pretty cool. But right now, this is just like not the best one so far. I'm hopeful that it's gonna become great. But at the moment, so far it's not the best series, so who knows. Next one, I'm gonna pull up Arusha right there. That might be the best. Yeah, give me Arusha. That one's fair. I'll just go over this really quick. So this is not a Rick Riordan book, but it's a Rick Riordan Presents, which means he has endorsed this, and this is Hindu mythology. Arusha on the End of Time. It's gonna be a trilogy. Okay, so Air, what do you think of it?
I think it was a really good book. It could have been better. I mean, like, yeah, but it was still a really good book, and I'm excited for Arusha, the second one, and the third one.
Probably gonna be this one. Yeah, so this is, I feel like this is gonna be a nice read for me. So there's that. That's not technically part of Percy Jackson at all, but I still included it because that's the one we bought. We're not interested in the other ones, Mayan mythology. This one's the main one. Okay, but this is the last book that I own, which is Demigods versus Magicians, or Demigods and Magicians. So in this book, we get a bunch of short stories, I believe. We get 3 stories in this, and I believe they're all magicians, so they're all King Chronicle stories. But Percy Jackson does occur in this book for sure. So he is in this book.
It's both of them.
Both of them are in here, but I have no idea. This was okay. This was not bad at all.
I think this was really good because like it's not just sticking to one mythology. It's also you know, magicians and demigods.
It's not bad. I don't care too much for it. It's just an extra book. That was interesting. But then we've also got a couple of other books, which is, I believe, Demigod Diaries, which had pictures in it that ruined everything. I hate the pictures, but the story, I mean, it's kind of just diaries. It's not bad. It's okay.
We do not own diaries.
I tried to, but then my parents were like, no.
But we both read it from the library, and it was still really good.
And then we've also got the Norse stories, the 12 Norse stories, or something like that. The most recent one, as the time of recording this, which is in January 2019. And so that one, I haven't read that one. I have no intention of reading that one. Air can tell you about that.
I've read it. Again, we don't own that book either. Still got it from the library. But I think it was really good. And I like how, like, it goes back to the other books that had Norse mythology as well. So it wasn't just, like, 12 random stories of Norse mythology.
Yeah, okay, so...
Like, they all the stories relate to each other.
Okay, I'm assuming that they were okay. I don't expect them to be big. They're kind of short. That's basically all the important ones, so we've got some decent books here. Okay, here's the thing. I would recommend this book to anyone who's starting to get reading. So if you want, like, any kids to read, try to toss them the first Percy Jackson book. I would suppose getting all 5 so that they can see it before they start it.
Overall, I think the Percy Jackson series is the best series in the world. Not even just the things that are in Percy Jackson.
It's a good introductory series, in my opinion. Yeah. It's very, very solid. It's very fun to read. It whizzes by because there's so few words on a page. So simple. I think Rick Riordan did an amazing job at this. Maybe not as incredible as other things. Maybe like people don't like it as much as Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or anything like that. But the thing is, this is made for a specific audience as an introduction to readers, and I think it works perfectly for that.
All Percy Jackson books were good, even the ones that weren't really with Percy Jackson in it. Like King Chronicles.
So they were all good, basically. Yeah. So if you want somebody to read, basically set that up. What do you rate the entirety of the series, Eric?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I'm not gonna rate it out of 10. I'm just gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Just because of how I feel about it, which is that it's an incredibly good series, very well woven together, and amazing for what it's trying to do, which is to begin readers into this long journey. Very good about teaching about all these religions and myths. And so I love what it's done. Personally, I'm not enjoying the last couple of books, but it definitely has some potential, and I'm really, really happy about it. Breathe. So it's a very good job. It does a very good job at what it's trying to do, and absolutely, if you want a kid to read, that's my point. Take it home. I would give it a 5 out of 5. It's easily my introductory series. It is the series that I grew up reading.
It is amazing.
It's awesome. It's just wonderful. It's still coming out to this day. The next book is coming out in a couple of months of Apollo series. Oh. So yeah, in a couple of months. So that's gonna be great. I haven't read the last Apollo book actually. So that's kind of weird. Yeah.
You haven't read the third one. I have.
Because it takes a year to come out, and I have no idea what happened in the first 2. I completely forgot. So I'm just gonna go through. I'm just gonna go through and read them all over again. That might be easier for me. Yeah. So that's probably the best way to do it. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you've enjoyed, please hit the like button down below and subscribe if you want to see any other series review. I'm only going to be doing series review with Air if I can do it, but
Yeah,
I've got
the
a couple
ones
of
I've read too.
I've got a couple of series that I might want to completely review. But if me and Air has both read a review, we might series that we might review together. That might be the best way because Air is fun, it's nice,
Yeah.
but it gets really long, like this video. I don't know how long it is. We've been recording for about 30 minutes now, so that's gonna be horrible to edit. But we've got that, so we might do this. If you enjoyed this review with Air, if you like Air, leave a comment, tell us that you like Air, and if you don't like Air, we'll kick her out of the house. She doesn't need the house. We'll not give her food. No problem, okay? So we're going to be doing that. Tell me if you've read Percy Jackson. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you're thinking about starting Percy Jackson. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be answering all comments down below. And thank you guys for watching, and
Bye, guys.
I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!
Bye.